And we are live. Good stuff. Back at the PT Graduate Podcast. And my guest today, Keeley Thornley. Welcome to the podcast, Keeley.
Hi, thank you.
Great to see you and catch up. I know virtually. I mean, we've caught up in person a few times, but it's always good to make connections out there while we're, still in the lockdown state that we're in.
Yeah, definitely. It takes a little bit sometimes to keeping in contact.
yeah, it does. And I think, you do need to make an effort, don't you? Because, I mean, obviously I'm making a podcast, but at the same time, it's a really nice opportunity to be able to reach out to people I know and people I don't know and, just strengthen those connections. So, it's a good opportunity. So your business is Push Play Fitness.
Yes.
And so really it'd be interesting, and you've been going, you're a relative newcomer to the industry, you're getting your business, you're building your business, despite what COVID may have to say about that. So you kicked off in January 2020, is that right?
I think I was starting to kind of get into wanting to do that kind of stuff, and I think I was in literally a year ago that I started it officially, that I was like, that's right. So last November was the time where I was like, this is my business. It started. I'm out. Good
on you. Yeah. And so where does the name Push Play Fitness come from? What was the sort of the idea behind that?
Yeah, so with Push Play Fitness, it was kind of like people a lot of the time hesitate to start to try and make any changes and stuff like that. And because I wanted to kind of help people make those changes as we do as personal trainers, I kind of came up with it because you just have to literally, you just have to push play. You just have to start, whether it's from where you are, and even if it's like a little bit not just starting from the bottom or starting from where you're at. So no matter where you're at, I just wanted to kind of go, you could just push play and start the journey, go through the levels and everything like that. So
So I guess it's a great way of making feel comfortable and sort of say, look, there's no expectations here. You don't have to be super fit and you don't have to be at a certain level to do this stuff. You can literally get going from where you're at, and we start from there.
Yeah, exactly. Because as I find that's usually the people that you want to be helping that don't want to take that step. So you want to be able to make those kind of people feel comfortable to come to you and actually ask for help from where they're at, and not have to push them so hard to affect they're overwhelmed. Just start. Yeah,
absolutely. So you've got a bit of I've done a little bit of homework here. It's amazing what Google reveals when you start digging. You were quite a handy runner at school, weren't you?
Yes, I was. I was always doing the cross countries and the into schools and stuff like that. Yeah.
I mean, a couple of first places, like the 400, 800. It's reasonable sprints, not quite sprints, but getting between sprint and middle distance. Is that sort of was that the springboard, the fact that you were sort of already fairly capable yourself? Obviously you enjoyed it and you were into it, and then was that kind of what led you into thinking, well, what can I do with this, or was it not?
It basically was like fitness, as like I've done it throughout school with like the running and sports and stuff like that. And I found when I found it, there was like, the other side of there's heaps of sides of fitness, like all the different types of training and stuff like that. And it was the one thing that kind of no matter what, I could kind of still, even if I was not feeling so good, even if I was going through a hard time, I could still keep that as a goal and like just have one thing that's like on track and making me feel better. And I find that really important. So I found that if you are still looking after yourself, even though other things aren't going so good, if you still feel like you have support to look after yourself and your own physical self, that like kind of helps you feel like you're still achieving something. So I find that if I can help other people with doing something that I love, that helped me, that worked for me.
No, that makes sense, because it's relatable. And has that worked? Do you feel as though people have sort of jumped on board and gone with that because they can relate to it and understand the benefit that it's going to give them?
Yeah, sometimes people are just they already kind of know they've kind of jumped on and off the training like over the years, so they kind of know they feel better and stuff like that.
Right.
I've had quite like a few clients that they're like, oh, I felt like I never really worked out and now I feel so much better, and like I kind of do feel like I can do things easier, and like it's just like more, they can notice it more in their day-to-day life rather than just the physical stuff as well. So so I think so anyway.
yeah, absolutely. And you're a big advocate of looking after that mental health aspect of overall health, and I've seen you're very active on social media and you're good at sharing your message and some of the things that might be challenging you, and putting that out there so that people can sort of go, oh yeah, she's just a normal person, she's not a superhuman or anything like that. You really do put a lot of time and effort into putting those messages out there.
Yeah. That kind of honestly, that kind of just started. I was just kind of doing it a couple of days a week, and then I think a few people that I didn't completely know but kind of knew growing up a little bit kind of reached out to me and was like, oh, I needed to hear that today, that kind of made a difference and stuff like that. And so I've just kind of tried to build it a little bit and do that, and so that's kind of where that came from. And I've found that sharing this stuff that sometimes you just don't hear every like all the time, that you kind of feel like you want to, and social media, you can have so much stuff that just kind of how do you say it, like not like just negative stuff a lot on Facebook, on social media. I find that sometimes people just like having just something there that's positive. Try and help, like just it makes me feel better, helps other people, and it
kind of balances the superficial always positive stuff out a little bit, doesn't it? Because you're right, generally speaking, you only see the best reel of people's lives, and that's not reality, is it? So
no.
I think the great thing with your message is that it's all very real, and it's today this was a challenge, or that was a challenge, or whatever it may be, and this is what I did, and it seems to have been of benefit to me. So making yourself just a real person that people can again identify with and say, look, that's me as well.
No, and it definitely helps when a lot, because I mean people come to look at PTs sometimes like, oh, they just want to, if I was to train with them, sometimes they think that you're just like, that you're trying to get them to like our kind of the goals that we want for them, instead of going, hey, like it's you're allowed to have these, like I'll understand around challenges along the way, and kind of how you want to do it and work around you, and I'm like I'm not going to just push you to a point of you're just not going to want to keep going.
Absolutely. And it's, again, I think it's the way I describe that is sort of meeting them at where they're at, and I think you've said that in your way a couple of times there, that it's not about where we're at, we're just helping them move from where they're at to where they want to be, and everybody's starting point is different. And I'm like every trainer that I've met they do that like in their own way, and they like so but when I do that, I was just trying to get across to other people, because all of the personal trainers are great, they do that, but it's just how can I personally kind of put that across? I think some aren't so good at communicating that though, because you'll see them doing some phenomenal exercises, and they might string a few things together on a video, or show you doing something that they think might be inspiring, but actually when someone watches that isn't as fit or as strong or as capable, might just go, oh my God, I'm absolutely intimidated, scared, witless, and would never contact that person because I don't see myself being able to ever achieve that. And they probably could, but they can't see the the journey that's required to get there and how much that person has put in their life to be able to demonstrate that stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. That is absolutely right.
Yeah, so it's that self-awareness, isn't it? Just understanding that they are, as you say, they're all probably saying the same thing in terms of wanting to meet people where they're at, but you've got to look at the messaging that you're putting out there, and like the stuff which is what we're talking about now, the stuff that you put out there, it's just very real. You're in your car, you've got your kids in the back, you're running errands, you've got other things going on in your life other than working with clients that obviously makes up the rest of your day. So people can see that and go, oh right, she's just another girl, and she's got stuff in her life, and she's got challenges and things that make things much more difficult than they probably anyone would think that they are, and that's probably the same for everybody else as well. But it's good to see the reality as often as possible rather than the facade, the airbrushed version of what people might be doing.
No, definitely, and it's just kind of I think it's each to their own, as well. Like some people are happy because they get people reaching out to them like that. I kind of, when I'm talking to my friends and talking to people that kind of reach out to me, I find like that's kind of what they sometimes they need to hear, and that's kind of what they need to see. So I kind of just do it to kind of help that as well,
Yeah. I think you do it quite naturally though. It's not like it's not contrived, you literally, you just pass on your message with whatever's going on with you for that day, and it's just very natural. It's not sort of it's not like you've prepped a script and you've checked the angles and the light and all that other stuff. It's just very natural, and I think that comes across really clearly. It's I always want to listen to what your message is, because I can go, oh, I hadn't thought about that, and oh, that's a good point. And it's really, really grounded. It's good.
I'm glad. Yeah, that's good to hear.
Well, I just hope the amount of time that you're putting into it, because obviously it's not, it's a big part of you. Being consistent is the challenge. The people see that and go, actually, I'm going to contact her. I want her help. She's just a normal person.
Yeah.
So you're based up in Hibiscus Coast, is that right?
Yes. Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Cool. And are you mostly mobile or totally mobile?
I'm totally mobile at the moment. Yeah. So I've just kind of been thinking of because obviously online a little bit now that it's completely online at the moment. Okay. But when I'm not when it's not locked down, I do completely mobile. I've been thinking of kind of other ways I can do a home studio and stuff like that, but that's kind of just with growth. So
sure.
So my main thing is the mobile one at the moment.
Yeah. So what sort of things do you do? I mean, obviously we've talked a lot about the social media side of things. Are there other things that you do that you kind of have found that works well in terms of promoting your business and meeting your community and trying to engage with new clients?
Just trying to think. I mean, the main thing for me personally is word of mouth around, because I know I've grown up here on the coast, and so it was a good place to base my business because I can talk to people that I already know. And that is the main thing. But I have been as we always do, we do want to look around and see what else we can get involved in that is more kind of in person, not online sort of thing. So to be honest, I'm not so much that I haven't gone out as much of my way to go out into the community and kind of meet people and find out what's that. So, but I did used to go to the networking groups and that though, which were awesome. So
So so you were doing that obviously when we were able to meet in person, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that they are a great way of being able to get your name out there, and a group of people that are in front of you every 2 weeks or 1 week or whichever type of group you meet to spread your brand and your name into the local community.
Yeah, but there is so much out there that you can kind of do to that isn't online, that you can get out to know people and kind of get you as a business and a personal trainer to kind of yourself out there. Always kind of looking for those things to do.
yeah And any particular organizations or groups or markets that you sort of focus on that are people that you're looking to work with on an ongoing basis?
No, not really. That is one thing that I need to work on within my business.
Right.
So I personally, I know that that's like a hole with my marketing and my business.
Okay.
Is trying to find out kind of where I want to and who I want to be working with in particular, sort of more like that. But so I'm just trying to figure out where I stand on that, all that kind of stuff, because as I said, like most of my things, getting clients and stuff is online or on the community page and stuff like that. And so I've because COVID's been on and off through the year, that's what I was kind of mainly relying on. So that's kind of fallen through the cracks of what other organizations can I go out and kind of work with, because I've had ideas, because I've seen you in person and talked about it. I've had ideas, but I haven't followed through with that. And so that's one thing that's kind of been hard on the business end, is following through with your ideas sometimes.
Have you found there's been any demand for sort of, now we can operate outside in the and luckily we're going into summer, people wanting to do things outside as opposed to not wanting to do anything at all?
I think I found a lot of people have wanted to start to do things outside, haven't they? And thought that they've actually been more comfortable doing things outside because they're actually safer. They've been like, we've been stuck inside for so long. I want to get out and do things and go to the park. And if there's if there's training there or groups and stuff like that. So I feel like people are at that stage where they're like, I feel safe to go out. I want to go out because it's just kind of lockdown has kind of forced me into finding other things, like other than in the house and stuff like that. So I feel like there is.
Good. I've had people approach me saying the same thing. I don't do that stuff anymore, and there could well have been enough of people to get something going, but that's not where my business is going. That's not the direction I'm wanting to go, and I've done that stuff, and I've decided to say no to those people. But I imagine, I've seen the F45s outside, just around the corner from their, bricks and mortar premises, doing the group thing outside. And there was another group as well. I can't remember where it was, but there's lots of organizations out there taking advantage of that outside opportunity. And I think the demand is definitely there. There's enough people out there saying that they want this stuff. They haven't been able to stick to their usual routines, and they just need someone like us to sort of facilitate that activity.
Because I've seen a lot of people on the coast. They've been posting up their actual groups outside, and also like even just things on like the community page. They'll say, hey, like I saw a group like outside today. Anyone know who that was? And then they find out who it was, and that's usually kind of like they'll end up going and stuff like that. So it's definitely people are noticing the outdoor groups a lot now. Absolutely. Is that a service that you offer? I mean, obviously doing the mobile and the online stuff is good. And I have been thinking about it. Because during lockdown I've had my 2 daughters. It's hard for me to run a group if I have my 2 daughters around, because it is hard. And so I just decided personally for me, because it would be good, like they'd be there, but for me, I just wanted to do keep on with my stuff at the moment, and then once they're back and doing their thing at school and that, then I can start to do that over the summer. So yeah, been planning that a little bit.
Yeah, it's tricky. I really feel for those parents who've got younger children who need that supervision and a bit of homeschooling and still juggling, work commitments. That's the hardest, I think, situation for people, who are stuck indoors and going through the lockdown process, because there's a real variety of things that challenge people, and some people love that office environment of being at work, and some people like being remote, but if you don't like the remote thing and you've got to also look after your kids, it can be seriously challenging.
No, definitely. It's but yeah, keeping them occupied over 3 months. That's
yeah, no mean feat. Well done for keeping the juggle going, because it's not, it's a lot of respect. My kids are a little bit older, and luckily they don't require that kind of supervision, but man, I know so many people who have really done it hard.
I think the thing with the kids as well is they you're trying to keep them as active as possible, and you're having to feel like you need to go outside as well, so you're having to get outside with them and go for a walk or go to the park or whatever it is, and they get frustrated, but they don't understand why they're frustrated either. So
that's it. That's that mental health piece, isn't it, where kids have the same sort of challenges that we do, but they don't necessarily know how to express it and explain it. So we need to kind of step in and help them and sort of preempt the problems before they become too big, and burn that energy off and engage with if you can engage with other kids or at least siblings, and try and make it as normal as possible.
Definitely.
So what does 2022 look like? Have you kind of, obviously you said you're going to be doing stuff over the summer and using the good weather, but have you got things that you are working on, planning, sort of hoping that we'll assuming this traffic light system gives us some freedom, and it looks like it probably will, but we don't have it all the clarity yet. Anything on the horizon for next year?
For next year, I got quite a few things that I want to be setting up for Push Play Fitness. So I've been wanting to set them up for a while, and I started doing it before lockdown, then kind of came to a halt. And so those kind of things are kind of coming up that I want to get sorted. So I have a lot to do on that side with planning, and obviously groups are probably the first one to kind of get going and get involved in the community a little bit more and stuff as well, because I find that that's one thing that I actually enjoy getting out there as well, is getting to know people that are closer to in the community. And I've got a few things written down.
Cool, excellent. All right, that sounds good. And what's worked for you so far? What are the things that Push Play has? I mean, and obviously, you're still early days. You're building your business, and you've had multiple interruptions in the last sort of 12 to 18 months. So it hasn't been an easy way into the industry. But what sort of things? Any tips that you have actually kind of gone, wow, actually that worked, and I'm going to keep doing that, or that was a mistake, but it's some good learning, and so therefore I know not to do that again or do it differently. What sort of what would be the highlights for you, or lowlights, and both?
Well, with COVID, with lockdowns, or especially even coming into the traffic light system or anything like that, is just keep on, like, especially when you're kind of things like that kind of bring your business to a halt, or training to a halt or anything like that. Just kind of I usually I know that this is probably like the first thing anyone does, but writing down a list and just kind of seeing that visually, and having to, like, just slowly, even if you're only doing one or two things, kind of just slowly getting that off. That really helps, because it shows that you are achieving things. You don't get to that time where you just start to do nothing
Yeah.
because you're kind of feeling like there's no use, or
Yeah.
so that kind of helps that to start thinking outside the box. And once you start writing things down, other ideas come. And yeah, that was one of the main things. And like, I guess just keeping in mind that literally sorry just
all good
alarm. Just keeping in mind that especially over the first year to two or anything like that, it's like there are going to be obstacles, and there are going to be things you don't know, and you just gotta set that time to say, I don't know this, I can't get frustrated. You just have to go and look into it, learn a little bit more, and just keeping the mindset that you, even though you don't know things, you can learn things. There are going to be times where you just don't know what you're doing, and
so what would your strategy be if, I think the listing's a really good one. You're right. I think it gives you time to just think and consolidate, and then, as you say, you feel that sense of achievement as you work your way ticking those things off that list. But what would your strategies, or what have your strategies been when you do get stuck, like you don't feel like you know everything you need to know? What steps do you take? Because everybody might do that completely differently.
Asking around as well, like, I had everyone to talk to, like making a network with everyone. So that does help, actually, asking other people and asking around. I just usually tried to find the resources myself.
Right.
A lot of the time I did just go through so many resources and so many stuff that I was just like, trying to find what would work, what I would kind of understand and what would work for me. But to do with strategies, those were pretty much my things that got me through, to be honest. Just making sure that I have people that I can turn to, and reaching out for help, and just putting in that mindset of, I might not know it, but there has to be something out there that's going to be able to teach me what I need to know.
Definitely, there's definitely people out there. So would that be more technical stuff, or would it be more business stuff, or a variety? So is it any particular area of the business that you would reach out and sort of say, hey, what do you reckon to this? What do you reckon to that?
The business side, definitely, but also, even technical things, because even technical things as a trainer, that I've asked you quite a few questions sometimes, so I just go, I don't actually know. So this client is, having these problems, and I'm not actually sure, to be honest. Like, so I'm not going to know everything. I haven't been in the industry for so long that I just know everything, and so I'm still learning along the way. And so it definitely has been a lot of technical things as well. As how I train them, or
Yeah, that's right. I know that you hurt your knee recently. This is inside knowledge now. But what you obviously were playing, was it touch?
It was Gridiron. So
okay, not quite. Not quite. Okay.
Yeah.
And you ended up in a boot, and you were off the field for a long time, and you couldn't do what you had to do, and it limited your capacity and your role in your job. But that would have been a testing time, I imagine. But so there's about 14 questions in this statement. So it would have been a testing time. But how did you overcome that? What did you learn as a result of sort of being incapacitated, and how you had to adapt to do your job? And what sort of rehab stuff did you do and learn about?
When I did it, that was obviously like kind of a week off, and then I managed to, because it was already, I did the ACL and the meniscus.
Right.
It was kind of already, I could kind of walk around on it and get around. So that was okay. But I think the most testing thing for when I had my injury was learning that I wasn't too good at the communication side on like training my clients and that, because I can show them things and I can help them do things, but if I'm injured, I can't show them, I can't like, you know, so that communication on the training side, I found out, oh, actually I need to say things clearer, I need to learn new ways to train. So that was one test that kind of tested me a little bit. And I guess like rehab, I have had to obviously not stay off my leg for the first few weeks, and then just kind of slowly go on. But because I've been training for so long and then not being able to do it, and just back to, you know, bridges and a little bit of squats, and like this kind of, even at the start for like months, was just straightening it and bending it a little bit, you know, and that's that kind of stuff. So but I did take away that even though I had to work on all of that kind of stuff, it showed me kind of where I can meet my clients if they've had something as where how rehab at how this process is and that as well, and they know that I actually understand that it's actually slow, but there's so much other things you can do that than just, if you've as I hurt my knee, I can still do other exercises, and there's still so much to do, you know. You don't have to just stop. So and making sure that you know, staying with the physio and staying with everyone guiding me along the way.
Right. So you had some good support around you with a physio, and was there a surgeon involved as well? The surgeon was there, so I saw him every 2 weeks, and then 6 weeks, and now just checked on it for the last time, so it should be good now. Cool, glad to hear it. So back to Gridiron
next year. Everyone's told me not to, but I still am going to. It's one of those things where I love what I do. I love doing it. So so just next time, just work on the footing and strengthen it a little bit more.
I guess you've learned a whole lot, haven't you, through that process? And as frustrating as that is to be immobilized, you know, you're a better communicator with your clients. You've understood that rehab process intimately, and what support's involved to help people get through it, and reinforce the message that you know, you don't have to stop doing everything just because the knee's injured. There are so many other things that the body can do. And there's always so many silver linings in a bad situation, aren't there? So
and it helps, because I mean, I know there are so many people, they get injured and they just feel like in themselves, they just feel like they just kind of go down because they don't want to, you know, they feel like they can't do anything, and it's kind of good to say, no, you can do it. Like, there's still things you can do. Like, don't worry about it. Don't let it get you down. So you can still reach some goal. You can still work on it, you know.
And I think when you're used to being active and it stops you being active, that's a real head job. And it would be for me. Like, if I've sprained ankles or twisted, you know, done something or sprained something, like you know, that slows me down, I'm like, whoa, you know, the worst thing is not being able to carry on doing it. My head just goes AWOL. And I really struggle with that, and I probably haven't put enough time and effort into managing that, how that goes and how I should deal with it. But there's some seriously good lessons as a result of going through those things, because each time it happens, I go, okay, you can deal with this, you know, and onwards and upwards, rather than, like you say, people sort of getting down on themselves and going into that black hole, which isn't a fun place to be.
And kind of putting across the message that the rest and recovery part is actually like very important on it too, you know, like saying it's okay, you're not doing nothing because you are resting.
Absolutely. Such an important message. Yeah. Is Gridiron, do you get that body armor stuff on?
Yeah, we got the pads and the helmet. Yeah.
Oh, you are crazy. I'm not sure.
Lots of fun.
Yeah, I'm glad it would have to be to get all geared up like that. It would have to be fun.
Yeah.
So, any questions, Keeley, that I haven't asked that you're kind of like, why didn't he ask me that? Burning question. I needed to tell him that.
No, I think most things I think you've covered most things, yeah, because those were kind of coming into that. That's kind of what I wanted to. That's what I was thinking of, what I was kind of gonna get across, and yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, that's cool, brilliant stuff. Well, it's been a pleasure catching up and seeing how you are and picking your brains a little bit for the podcast today. So I really appreciate your time, and hopefully we're back to a far more normal state very, very soon.
Yes.
Cool. All right. Cheers for now. See ya.
Bye.